Catch up with YouTube, and maybe this time we'll have some audios. Just waiting. Just waiting. Just waiting. There we go. All right. How about that? It's always good to have audio, isn't it? Okay. Let's get started. Alrighty. If you don't know me, I'm Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach, and this is my YouTube page, youtube.com/coachstevemoney. And if you scroll down past Oak Island, past live streams, you'll get this show, Answering Your Financial Questions with Ramsey Solutions Certified Coach Steve Money. That's a long title, so I just call it mostly Answering Your Financial Questions. And as you can see, this is number 80. Am I missing one? I'll have to check on that. I thought this was number 82. We'll see. And then it's my music playlist, and there are 8 or 9, something like that, Ramsey adjacent songs in here. They're basically parodies of other songs, but they are all about Dave's advice and the personalities. And of course, the Ramsey Show After Show. There are 369 of those. Used to be able to do those every day. But then I moved and changed jobs, and so now I can't do that. So any of that financial content you would like to avail yourself of, please do. Alrighty, but it's time to answer your financial questions now. And whoever's watching, I guess you couldn't hear sound earlier, and it was because I had my mic muted in a place that I didn't even know it was listed. So that was something I did on accident, as the kids say. All right, so I unaccidented it, and now we got audio. The Angry Axolotl. Car payment decision. I have a 3-year car lease ending soon and unsure what to do. Basically, the salesman wasn't forthcoming about the car price. Shocker. And I didn't catch it. Basically added $5,000 to the price. Oh, well. Stupid tax. Yep. The buyout is $19,000. So if I bought it out, it'd be overpaying $5,000 for the car overall, but I also look at it as buying a reliable, I'm the only driver and took good care of it, used car, or cut bait on the car and try to find a cheaper used car. Yearly salary is $75K. Only other debt is $10,000 student loan. No house. Have about $60,000 in savings accounts, and you're doing it wrong. So if you're going to follow Dave's advice, you could do that buyout immediately and keep that one if you wanted to. And also pay off your student loan. And you'd have a full emergency fund probably after that, if you wanted to do it the Dave way. Direct Cry 6786. And what time did we start here? 3:30. Oh, almost 3:30. Okay. Don't want to do too long. And baby step 2, deciding between high yield savings account and a CD for emergency fund. You do not ever want to do a CD, because a CD is locked in, and if you have to use it, then you're paying a penalty for breaking that money out of there. And so you would always use a high yield savings account, but in that, say, high yield savings account, if it's going to be for your emergency fund, that high yield savings account has to give you a debit card on it, or a check writing, or both on there. Because you know why? Emergencies don't wait for a 1 to 3 day transfer until they happen. They don't let you know coming, you better transfer some money. They don't let you know ahead of time. So you have to have immediate access to it. So there are high yield savings accounts that do have debit card access. So just find one of those. Let's see what it said. I answered it already though. I've been following Dave Ramsey for a while. Currently in baby step 2. This is for the emergency fund, right? And so I'm doing high yield savings and a 2-month CD. 2-month CD is better interest rate. Really? All right, high yield savings should be around 5% or so. Let's see, one specification is no online banks. I prefer in-person brick and mortar banking. Well, if you're not going to do an online bank for the high yield savings, yeah, you're not going to get the 5%. Let's see, so you do the envelope system, okay. A little suspicious of banks, a little sus. But mulling over, putting some of the emergency fund something that in something, I'm assuming, that will earn me some capital. The background doesn't matter. None of it matters except, yeah, if you're the one limiting yourself to a brick and mortar institution, and so then you're going to be limited, but you can't put it in a CD either because then there's going to be a penalty if you want to get it out. If you need to get it out for an emergency. All right. This from G.A. Pipkin. Or Gap Pipkin. The best way to pay off the house before retirement. That's to not spend money on anything else. Let's read it. THI. I don't know what THI means. The not the whole. I don't know what THI means. 120K a year. Oh, I see. Gotcha. 120K a year income. Got 2 kids in high school. Got something flying around here. No other debt. 280K for 25 years left on a 30 fixed at 4.25. Valued at 510K. We want to retire in 15 years. Well, you pay it off then. And have 350K in retirement pension and IRA. Should we refinance to a 15 or just pay extra each month? Just pay extra each month. The refinancing is going to cost you. So just pay it faster. And don't get distracted by other stuff. You can't do everything. You can't do vacations and retire in 15 years and have 350K in retirement pension. You can't do, and have, of course, the house paid off all at the same time. So you cut out the vacation to have the other two, which would seem to be more important. You would cut out the vacation and make sure those two happen. Whether they can in your life, I don't know, because I don't know the rest of your budget and what you can cut out of it. But that's the dealio. How you pay off the house before retirement is, like I said before reading the question, it's that you do not spend that money on anything else. So, I mean, basically, whatever baby step you're on, you're still... I mean, because you do buy things, and like once you're in step 4, you can take vacations and such. Sure, you can do that, but you have to say, well, do I want to spend the money on the vacation, or do I want to pay my house off that much faster? $10,000 vacation, or put $10,000 more on the house? And so that's up to you. The speed is up to you at which you do that. But yeah, definitely pay it off in 15 regardless. If you've been playing minimums on the 5 years that's already, so you have some getting to be doing got. Something like that. Texan 2116. What would Dave recommend? 59 men, single, have 220K in retirement accounts. That's not that much. Better than 219K though, of course. And also additional pension to look forward to. Okay, that'll help some. lump sum option or payment option. If I work 65, the lump till 65, the lump is around 330K. If I leave in 3 years, it is about 290K. If I left now, it's 260K. If I take the payment, it will be around 1,800 to 2,000 a month. I have zero debt, except for my house, upon which I owe 35K at 2.8%. I earn about 75K a year, currently putting about 300 a week in a retirement account. I live on about 700 a week. Also have 16K in cash. The living on 700 a week probably doesn't include mortgage and other expenses maybe. I don't know. I don't know what it includes. 16K in cash. Might need more than that. Might want to have the full 6-month emergency fund. Does need minor work, but it's around, yeah. So again, you're going to try to pay it off. You're already 59. You know, sorry about it. There's not limited. You're going to be limited by the situation at hand, which is your age. And so I would definitely work at least until 65, maybe more around that. But then I think he's meandering here. He's going to get back to, should he take the lump sum at 65? Yeah, you can take that and then invest it. And then you can live off the retirement accounts until they're gone. And then the new retirement account, which will be the investing from the 330K invested, then you could live off of that. Let's see. Nope. Am I doing this right, or would he recommend a change or questions I should ask? Well, you need to be paying off the house. Oh, you only owe 35K on the house. Awesome. So, but you still need to be putting 15% into retirement. So you can include the pension amount, but you can count the pension amount as half of the 15%. So like basically if you're putting, let's make a nice round number, 8% of your income, gross income, into your pension, then you would only count that 4 on the Ramsey scale for the 15%. So you would have to invest an additional 11. And so if you can't do both of those at the same time while paying more, if you can't do 15% while also paying more on the house, you might need to cut out some expenses. Not a skeleton. Could also move down in house maybe. Let's see. Again, you cannot do when you're limited on the funds, limited on the time, limited. That's like, what is that? Home Shopping Network. It's a limited. What is it? Limited edition. Okay. What we did, Rick? Oh, I did that one already. Not a skeleton. Going back to school, should I take a student loan? I never finished that about when I was saying it's limited. You got limited time before you want to retire. And so basically you got to take care of these remaining baby steps. Baby steps 4, which is eternal, and 6, pay off the house early. And so you do want to take care of those. And since you got limited time, that is less wiggle room for spending money on fun things. But it can happen. And you might have to work longer than 65 years old. Going back to school, should I take a student loan? Hear me out. No, there's no need to. There are certain things where in the Dave Ramsey advice, where nothing you say, none of your even ifs. I mean, everybody calls and asks every time about a loan. Everybody does. Every single show, I bet there's at least one. I'm trying to remember a time where there wasn't one where somebody asked if they should take out a loan. And so, you know, granted, maybe they're new and don't know Dave's the no debt guy, but, you know, or they just think, like everybody thinks, oh, I'm the exception on this. No, no exceptions. You do the baby steps in order. If there's an emergency, you pause it. And then when there's not an emergency anymore, you unpause it and you're right back where you started from. There's no moving the steps around and there's no loans. Now, when I say no loans, if you're in baby step 2 trying to get rid of a higher loan, like if you have an underwater car that you could sell and move down in car, and you could take out a $5,000 loan and get rid of a $10,000 loan, then yes, you would make that swap because that reduces your debt by $5,000. Let's see, I'm looking to go back to school, and the program I want to take will cost about $20K. I could pay the whole thing in cash, but I'm thinking about taking out a student loan instead. Here's why. Let's hear this. And I'm sure nobody has thought about this. Where I am in Canada, student loans are 0% interest with no indication that will ever change. It might not. It seems to make more sense to put the money in a high interest savings account or low risk investment while I'm in school, and then take out a loan, pay for tuition, books, etc. Then when I'm finished, just pay off the loan via minimum payments and keep that money invested. This way I have it just in case, but in probably a bunch of other crap there. And put what would Dave do, and you know what Dave would do. No student loans. That's debt leverage. Using debt leverage to invest. So that's a no. Borrowing money to invest it. No. Doesn't matter even if it's 0% interest. It's still debt, and that's a negatory good buddy on the Ramsey plan. Lowski, another what would you do? So, well, when you ask me, that's going to be almost always exactly what Dave would do. I won't say 100% because we haven't done all the different things yet to see. And like some of the questions on here that I've answered that I have not directly heard him say something about, where it's not specifically spelled out in his advice, then I don't know though. I need help figuring out what to do here. 50K in high yield savings account, 11K in checking, 11.2K in car loans. Well, that cancels that out. And so you would take any high yield savings, you would take any checking, you take all of that down to $1,000. Let's scan over, scroll is the word, over here and check out the baby steps. Oh look, that says as long as you have debt, you're on step 2. And guess what? You don't have more than $1,000 in any type of savings until then. Until you're done with steps 2 and 3. And that's when you would have, at the end of 3, you have your full 3 to 6 months of living expenses. No debts. So you don't have all this saving while you have debts. So that would be paid on the debts. The percentage rate doesn't make a darn bit of difference. Roughly 11K credit card debt. Yeah, you would just pay all that off with what you have. Hopefully you have enough. Let's see, with the 50K, yeah, so dumb. 8% interest there. Let's see, the 3.9, maybe your high yield savings account is making 5, but the 47 is making, the high yield savings account is making the 4,700. I'm confused. Okay, hold on. Oh, 11,200 in car loans. Oh, there's 2 car loans. Okay. But the one at 8%, your high yield savings account isn't making 8%. And so 11. So there's 22. So you could still pay it off. Let's see. $66K left on the mortgage. You couldn't pay off the mortgage, but you could be darn close. Well, no, you wouldn't do that because you would save 6 months emergency fund. Knowing I could nearly pay off mortgages preventing me from paying off anything, and I'm petrified to use my savings because it's taken me so long to accumulate. Well, you were doing it wrong. You were accumulating it wrong. So if you want to start doing it right, you would take your savings down to $1,000, which it sounds like it would be more than that. You pay off all the rest of it. You don't just think about the mortgage. You pay off the lower debts first. Mortgage gets paid off in step 6. That's a later step. And so I don't know. Don't know why it's so hard to figure these steps out. They're very simple. Low seaworthiness, 697. How do I get on the Dr. John Deloney show? You call. I'm sure is on the Ramsey Solutions website. I'm sure you can call in, email in about trying to get on there, which is how they do that. I bet they have a voicemail that you can call and try to get on there as well. I'm asking the people that have been on there, did you email, call in several times? I've emailed a few times for advice from John, but I'm just seeing if there is any other way to get noticed, I guess. Having a hard time with some family issues and don't have a lot of resources. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully one of the comments has had experience with that, but I don't know exactly. But I'm sure they have an email address for him, and I'm sure there's a voicemail as well, where you can try to be one of the few lucky ones to get on his show. Smooches galore. Interesting. 43-year-old married couple with estimated net worth of $51,000 to invest. $43-year-old couple with estimated net worth of $51,000 to invest. What does that mean? If you have debt, you can't invest $51,000. You would pay off that debt before investing. Again, baby steps in order. Option 1, should couple transfer $51,000 into free robo investment? No. So again, the estimated net worth of $5,100. If they have $5,100, but also debt, they do not have a net worth of $5,100. So you're thinking about life wrong, especially the math part of it. Pro couple can save their gains for themselves. Yeah, except the debt is their debt. Will couple spend their gains on a tax expert without a financial advisor? What? Needs guidance and planning for long-term healthcare. Rebalancing trades can carry tax consequences and are not trades. Trades may result in short-term and long-term capital gains, although clients may... Yeah, none of that. If they have debt, they follow the baby steps is what they do. None of this advice. Virius 008. They might have meant to put virus there. I don't know. Cheaper property with less mortgage or more expensive property with more mortgage. If you're trying to keep taxes and overall expenses lower, that would be a cheaper property with less mortgage. Let's see. Hi, everyone. Hi, guys. I live in the UK for information, okay? I currently rent a flat with my girlfriend, both 26 years old. You're doing it wrong. Get married before you do that. Plan to have kids around 30. When are you going to plan to get married? I am in a position where we can buy a house. We're $240K with 10% deposit. And that would leave me with long-term mortgage 40 years. Nope. So if you have to get a 40-year mortgage to be able to afford the $240K house with the 10% down, then you can't afford the house. 15-year mortgage. And so if you're in some weird country where they don't do 15 years, just figure it out using the 15-year, and that's what you can do. The payment needs to be 25% of your take-home pay. Otherwise, you're house poor. Let's see. And higher interest payments. Yep. House would be more spacious for future and kids. None of that has happened yet. Not even the marriage. I would get married first before doing any of this dumb crap. I was wondering whether it is not better to get something smaller or flat for around $150K, pay 20% deposit and overpay a shorter mortgage to minimize interest paid. Then once it's paid off, upgrade to a bigger house. You could, and then that also would let you have a house now that is cheaper, and a cheaper house would be easier to do that, to pay it off faster, and then you can sell it if you do have kids and do want to move to a bigger house, but you don't need a playroom for the kids and 1 bedroom each. You don't need that. That's not a need. Let's see what else the British person says. What else is it? Get a flat. Flat could feel tight with future kids. That is years and years away, and you don't even know that it's going to happen. Could you please advise whether my logic is skewed and I am missing something? My parents are saying get biggest house possible. See what kind of house they got when they were 26. How about that? Edit. Thank you all for advice. Okay, but yeah, I mean, how big of a house did they get when they were 26? And also, were they married? You could ask that as well. But as far as the main thing, again, don't know it says in a position where you can buy the house worth $240. Yeah, you can, but it's got a 40-year mortgage. Banks will always loan you more money than they should. And often you can't afford that much as they are willing to lend you. So it doesn't say income or anything like that. So unable to say, but that's just so let's say in the case of pretending that it would make him house poor to buy the 240, you could still go cheaper and then live in the condo for a while, get married first, obviously, before you buy it together, but then upgrade later if you would need to. Because you don't need a 5-bedroom house, or even a 4-bedroom house, or even a 3-bedroom house with just 2 people living there. And if they're married, they're probably sleeping in the same room anyway. Subpar book library. All right. I've wasted 4 days paying off my iPhone. Yeah, that does happen. That does happen. I know a young lady that, what did she have? She had about $60 on an Apple credit card. I was like, why do you have $60 on it? And she's like, I don't know. I said, you should pay that off. And she said, oh, you know what? I should. And she did. So how about that? Wasted 4 days paying off my iPhone. Yep. This isn't typical debt-free post. been debt-free for years now. Not if you were financing that iPhone and you know, where it's hidden in the bill for the monthly service. If you were financing it inside there, guess what? Not debt-free. It's more of a reminder that it's always emotional, not mathematical. That's right. 80% head knowledge, 20% math. Debt-free on baby step 6, but I had taken out a 0% loan on my iPhone last year. And so, not debt-free. It doesn't matter if it's 0%, not debt-free. Why? I don't know. I didn't want to spend my own money. Well, dumb. The payment was such a small, insignificant amount. I couldn't care less. Props for not saying I could care less, because if you say I could care less, that means you do care, at least a little bit. At the time, yet recently it started to bug me because I was going through my budget and figuring out where to save the money, or save money, and that payment was there, sitting, looking right back at me, laughing. Yep. I've wasted 4 days, probably not much more, but I'm curious. I've wasted 4 days trying to think of ways not to pay it off. I have the money to pay it off. Of course you do. I have way more than that, yet it's interest-free. I could invest it, or some other BS reason keeping me away from actually paying off. Today I grabbed my phone, rang them up. I said, hello, I'm going to pay this off. I don't think we're not in England anymore. This might be an American. And it's done. It just shows how much all of this is psychological and emotional, not mathematical. Yep, everybody thinks they're gonna, you know, get one over on the loan people. You're not. Again, what would you do? Okay, not Dave. What would Dave do? What would you do? Which again, for me, I feel like for me, that's how it goes. Advice needed on how to tackle existing debt, 41K, 5%. Okay, 41K in a 5% high yield savings account that contains 6 months emergency fund. Oh, hey. Did you read the baby steps? They're right here next to you. Granted, you may have had to scroll it. See, it's got a bunch of stuff here on the side, but it does have the baby steps right there. Where does it say? Let's see, this says pay off debt smallest to largest using the debt snowball method. Where does it say put 41K into a high yield savings account? Even do your fully funded emergency fund while you still have debt. Do you see any of that there? No, you don't. 6 month emergency fund, 35K. Yeah, you're doing it wrong. Auto loan, yeah, you're doing it wrong. What's the best way to tackle this? You will never guess this, or somebody has figured out the best way to tackle it. And that man's name is on this subreddit right here. Reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey. And you're on this, so I'm assuming you know who the man is. Maybe not familiar with his advice. It's the baby steps, which again, written right here. Steps 1, 2, and 3, you do in order, one at a time. Steps 4, 5, and 6, you do in order, all at the same time. And so you do not skip ahead and start doing more savings while you still have debt. You're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong.
You need an umbrella for that.
If everything you're doing is bad, I want you to know this.
That's right. All right. Let's see. Maybe this person a little bit more familiar with Dave's advice, maybe. Dramatic location. What have you found to be the most effective way to help people struggle financially? effective way to help people struggle financially that helps them long term and isn't just a temporary fix. Okay. What have you found to be the most effective way to help people that struggle financially that helps them long term and isn't just a temporary fix? Again, the man has figured it out for you. The baby steps, always. Hello, a lot of calls on Dave Ramsey. Well, it's the Ramsey Show. Deal with the issue of helping versus enabling someone with a difficult financial situations. Have you had any positive experience helping someone financially that ended up empowering them to improve their finances in the long run? Yes, several people. Many people. Of course, as a financial coach, that might happen to me more than you, but yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I've had some people start it and then not finish it. Of course, that can happen. But most effective way to help people that struggle financially. So, like, generally, if you're not a financial coach, if you've just done this and it's worked for you and you're just trying to help like friends and such, then that's the main thing, is by be a good example and say, look, this is what I'm in baby step 6 now because I did all of this sacrificing earlier. And you can point to the list over there, the 7 baby steps. And so you just can talk about it, and as long anybody that's willing to listen, you can certainly tell them all about the baby steps. And Mr. Ramsey, absolutely do that. Now, you do have to accept that most people are not going to do this stuff because they don't want to just have $1,000 in savings. Sometimes they want to have $51,000 in savings that could pay off all their debt, but they're going to keep their debt anyway. And that is the normal thing to do, and you got to accept that most people are going to do that. We are the weird ones. We are the odd ones. But you know what you do? You just embrace the weird there. But yeah, basically for like friends, family, you just talk about it if they'll listen, and you just be the good example for them. You're a shiny on step 6, probably a shining example, and they'd be dumb not to listen, at least hear you out, like we heard out the lone guy. Where's X? Okay. Well, it's where Twitter used to be, right? Paying for my son's school while in baby step 2. Baby step 2, and all we have left are 2 car loans totaling $30,000. 30 is still significant. Our son's school tuition is about $5,900, and if we pay it in full before July, the rate, if the rate induces, it probably means the rate reduces to $5,000 for the school year. Right, I can save this amount in about 1.5 months. This will pause our progress on baby step 2. Should I save the full amount or pay it monthly and continue working on the car loans? Thanks for your advice. The advice would be to have the child go to public school. That's what the advice would be. Doesn't need to go to private school. So, and if this is a very young child, and this is some kind of daycare thing, and you're just calling it school, then that's different. But it would still be, if you would consider that, that'll be something that you owe, and you'd have to at least pay it off in increments. So I don't have any problem. Again, this is something, I don't know what Dave would say on this, other than probably the child doesn't need to go to a private school if that's what this is. Private schools are for baby steps 4 and beyond. But so I don't know exactly what he would say about this, but I would think it would be fine to do that if that's a thing you won't budge on, that kind of thing. Then you could do the sinking fund, and you can do it in 1.5 months. So it's really not that long. But while you're doing that, you would just pay the minimums on the car. And then once you have that $5,000 saved up, you pay off the school. And then after that, everything else goes to paying off the vehicles. And no more looking for other expenses for the baby. Or boy. Or girl. Or young man. Or a young woman. Depending on how old. Funny CT girl. Connecticut? Funny Connecticut girl. Okay. I'll be the judge of that. Let's see if your question is funny. Do you mention to people that you are mortgage and debt free? Well, you would if you're trying to get them to do the same good financial things that you've done, whether or not they're Ramsey stuff or not. If you're mortgage and debt free, you've obviously done something right. And so you would mention to those people. I mean, I wouldn't put it necessarily on a shirt and wear it around all the time. I wouldn't, necessarily be walking down the street and talking about, hey, mortgage free, yo. I wouldn't do any of that kind of stuff. But, the word about Dave's advice and not being normal, not doing it the normal way, that certainly does need to be talked about. And so that's up to you. Let's see. I'm about to pay off my mortgage and will also have no consumer debt. I'm wondering if, when people get to this step, they find themselves not saying anything to anyone for fear of getting hit up for money, right? Yeah, I'm sure they do. I'm sure people do. Especially if you know your friends and family will be asking for money. You know them. You know what they'll do. You know if they'll do that immediately. You know if they're always asking other people for money and just haven't asked you yet, or if they've asked you before, that kind of thing. Or people making comments about it, good and bad. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to change what you're doing. You know you're doing the right thing, so it doesn't matter if they think it's good or bad or not. You're just trying to help people out by talking about it. Almost everyone I know is swimming in debt and don't want to make myself a target. Yeah, the thing you would be a target of is, like you said, being hit up for money, and you just don't give it to them. And if it becomes a problem in the relationship or friendship, then maybe you shouldn't have that relationship or friendship any longer. Maybe they're not good people to be friends with. Boston Saw X, excuse me. Boston Sox, got it. The Red Sox. That's not going to be the Boston Sox. I guess, I don't know. Recast to save monthly payments or keep liquid. No, you wouldn't recast a mortgage. You don't refi it either unless you could save a lot in interest. What was to save monthly payments or keep liquids? Oh, we calculated that putting in down an extra $50K save. Yeah, well, wouldn't you put it down? Definitely put it down. Yes. So, and that's less of a mortgage you have, and that's less interest as well, in addition to the $330 a month. Yeah. So sure, no recast, but you don't. Oh, why would you have to recast to do that? Oh, I see. I got you. Additional now post close. You can just put that extra $50 on the principal instead. No recast. Keep money. Make improvements. Make additional payment month. What's the no? You don't need improvements on it. You just. You trying to pay it off, or you trying to keep it mortgage around for a long time. You're just worried about saving the $330 a month on payments. You can save the whole thing in payments if you pay it off. And so you start making improvements that aren't a need, then that'll be, you know, that'll get you there faster. You'll get there slower if you do things like make improvements and stuff. But you can just put the 50 to the principal, and then you don't need to do a recast. Nana 2KB2117. Not sure how to approach this. Hello everyone. Hi guys. First post here. I've been following Dave for several years. I feel like for me this is going to be a longer one. So let's open it and see if I was correctamundo. If it'll load. There we go. Not that bad, but more than would fit on the first page. Baby step 3, flare. And so that means theoretically, you know, the way some people do it, they're all over the place on the steps, but theoretically you would have your $1,000 done, you would have paid off all non-mortgage debt, and you would be working on your full emergency fund. Theoretically. So we'll see if that's the case. Hello everyone. Hi. I've been following Dave for several years. My husband and I are in our 50s, empty nesters, and made so many mistakes. We all have. Oh, we had to get up so early for work this morning. And trying to restart our lives since we remarried a few years ago. All right. We have no debt. That part is excellent for sure. Fixed income, $3,400 a month. The husband's income can be $0 to $4,000 a month. Yeah, the zero part is the problem. Depending on how business is going, he will pay bills to keep the lights on and his employee before he will pay himself. Yep. And you got to do that in small business sometime. Hopefully he's doing that at the speed of cash and there's no debt on that, because guess what? That's you guys' debt as well. Because he had to sign for it. Regardless of its business. Some people think business debt is something else. No, you signed for it. We currently live in an apartment and want to purchase a family member's property. Not even done with baby step 3. Everybody wants to jump ahead and get a house. Let me get it right now. Let's get everything right now. Now. Calm down, Veruca. Don't do that. That's from Willy Wonka or Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, depending on what year you were born in. He will pay bill. Oh, I did that. Currently living in an apartment. Want to purchase a family member's property from them as soon as we are financially able. Oh, okay. Well, are they gonna wait for you to finish your full emergency fund? That means 6 months if you plan on buying a house, and then for you to save the down payment on the mortgage. Property consists of several acres and a home. The home has a reverse mortgage, and the payoff balance is $72K currently. The balance grows by $1K monthly as long as the reverse mortgage remains. Well, yep, and so you'll have that, and so while you're trying to pay it, it's going to get $1,000 more expensive every month. So $12,000 more expensive every month. And the way property seems to appreciate in a lot of places, that's not that bad of a deal, $12,000 a year. We've decided that we definitely need to go gazelle intense in order to get that balance paid off ASAP. What balance? Oh, the payoff balance of the 72. Well, you wouldn't do that unless that also, I mean, that's payoff balance. Does that get you the deed and they're going to just give it to you for that? Let's find out. The plan is to pay off the reverse mortgage and get an RV and move out there while we add on to the house. A family member has an RV that we can have, so little to free expense there. With 44K savings and 11K as emergency fund, you need, again, before you buy a house, before you even start saving for the down payment, you need a 6-month emergency fund, because houses are expensive to fix things when they break. My question is about how to figure out the savings and future money coming in. Yeah, it's an unknown, so you don't do this. Should we add the 10K to the savings account and start back at 1K? I was thinking about rebuilding the 1K by adding 10% of each check, and any remaining monies go to the larger saving. Should you add the part that you have an emergency fund? Oh, so you're going to take your emergency fund down to add it to the down payment? Okay, so baby step 3 here has to be done before you do baby step 3, and those are two entirely separate things. So if your baby step 3 full emergency fund goes down at all 1 penny, then you are getting that back up to the 6 months in this case, because you're buying a house. Months of living expenses, you're getting that right back up there before you put penny 1 into a down payment. So, I mean, I know, I get it. You want it. You want this deal. But I mean, but on a reverse mortgage, I don't know if there's anything else involved, or you just got to do the payoff balance and then you would get it. But maybe the family member's property, maybe the family member wants more money than that because it's probably worth more than the 72. Am I right? And it's going up every 1,000 every year. Yeah. So that's going to be a no for me, dog. And I'm almost assured that there's going to be a no from Dave on that as well. No, you don't do that. Don't do that. You do the baby steps in order, and so that means you finish your full emergency fund. And it's, again, this is my rule. I don't know that Dave has this rule, but I'm sure he wouldn't object to it that you have a 6-month emergency fund before you buy a house, just because of the expenses that can be involved with owning a house. Like if anything breaks, you don't call the landlord, you call yourself and tell yourself to fix it. So yeah, 6-month emergency fund before you even start to save for the down payment. So yeah, you don't rob from your emergency fund to have that be the down payment, no matter how much you want the house. But some people will want the house enough to turn their back. How dare they on the Ramsey advice? How dare they? All right. Buying a car before mortgage paid off. Yeah, you can do that. A used one. A cheap one. Yeah, absolutely. In cash. If I pay cash for a no new car, unless you are $1 million, that means you have $1 million net worth. Unless the current administration is changing the definition of millionaire, like they changed, what was that? The recession definition. This episode of Answering Your Financial Questions brought to you by Crinkly Water Bottle. Okay, so here's the justification. Here it comes. We can pay off the house in about 30 months if we eat beans and rice, but I just wanted to go pay cash for a car to have fun with, as it used to be a big hobby of mine, but I sold it to pay cash for some necessary home upgrades. We have no debt, fully funded emergency fund, emergency account, and treasury bills. I feel like T-bills aren't immediately usable for emergencies. That's what I feel like for me. And enough in retirement accounts, 401, 457 pension, so not to worry for retirement, even if I contribute $0 more, already saving more than enough for kids' college, if they choose to use it, not a requirement. Okay, so what he's going to say is he's good, but if you got all that much money to throw around, then why is the house not paid off yet? I mean, that's only a year away. Where have you been putting more to the house yet? But I mean, again, if you pay cash for it and you are a millionaire, then you can buy a new car. That's fine. But I would probably myself, and I'd probably definitely would advise, pay the house off first, and then buy a car. But then I'll have to save a little bit longer. Yes, you will. Healthy Cycle 5391. I have a discipline problem. Wonder if there are any companies you can put your money and they give you an allowance. I'm sure there's some kind of service like that somehow that you could arrange somehow, but in the end, it's your money. And so if you say, give me my money, even after you say, okay, I'm hiring you to not give me my money, to only pay I'm going to pay the expenses and that's it. And I don't want you to give me any more of my money. There's probably something you can work out like that, but I don't know that that's 100% foolproof, because I think, like, if that was something like, I don't think banks would get involved in that. That would have to be something different. Like, you would have to hire a financial planner or something like that. Basically, or a custodian of your account, that kind of thing. But it's your money, and you would be on the account. And so the bank has to give you the money if you ask for the money. So I don't know exactly how that would be. Sometimes I forget my food debit card and I have to use my bills debit card. Yeah, life's tough. I would try harder to make yourself disciplined, to make yourself do it right. So like, forget my food debit card and have to use my bills debit card, or you don't get food that day. You make yourself drive home and go get it, and then maybe next time you're heading to the grocery store, if that's what this is. Hopefully that's not too, well, I don't know what step he's on or whatever, but if this is takeout or fast food or even restaurant, then you don't get it that day. And then maybe next time you head out to a restaurant, or even if it's groceries, maybe next time you head out to the grocery store, maybe then you'd remember it. I don't know. If you have that much of a discipline problem, I don't know that anything could permanently keep you in line. You'd have to be declared incompetent, and then somebody else would be in charge of your money, if it's that bad. But if you are of sound mind and so forth, as they say, then there's no way to keep you from your money. Unfortunately, that'd be great if there was a thing like that. I volunteer. I would do that. But again, there's not a legal situation that would handle that, unless, again, you were declared mentally unfit. Advice on an unconventional method of the baby steps. That would be, don't do it. Let's find out what it is. Greetings from Australia, mate. Recently been watching Dave Ramsey as I've started my road to financial freedom after viewing Deeply Stupid in the past. After doing Deeply Stupid, maybe? I want to follow the baby steps. I'll stop. They seem a good foundation towards taking control of income. Indeed. But I think I figured out better. That's basically. I have a certain system I'm putting in place at the moment that I'd like feedback from. On, you mean? All figures are in Australian currency. That's fine. 23, pay no rent. My only debt is my degree, which at time of writing is about $21,000. Let me guess, he wants to invest or do something else with the money, then pay off his debt. In Australia, student debt is paid back in the form of garnishing your wage after you make X sort of. Yeah, well, even in Australia, it doesn't matter that they do that. Dave would still tell you, you pay it off. Boom, 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 boom. And then they wouldn't have to garnish your wage after you make a certain amount. I'm over this threshold. Oh, interest also being indexed implied yearly. Last year was 7.2, but used to hover around 4%. Yep. Interest is up now, dog. Another cultural difference. My employer contributes 10% of my gross pay to a retirement fund called superannuation, which tends to grow at around a rate of 7%. Hey, why not make 10% in the market instead? Why make the 7%? I mean, if that's the only thing that'll put that in, then okay, fine. But you would have to count that as 70%, or as 70% of 7%. No, 70% of 10%. So that you would count that as 7. Actually, it's an employer contribution, so you would not count that as all. That's just gravy in the biscuit. On the biscuit. I'm a contractor. You usually make $1,700 a fortnight. That's 2 weeks, kids, in case you didn't know that. It's more than just a game. Once I get paid, I top up my spending account to $500. This is the money. Oh, the kids with their I top it up. Top up. I don't know. That could be an Australian thing as well. I don't know, but it's interesting. Different things that different people say. This is the money I allow myself to spend over the fortnight towards food, transport. Metro rates kind of suck here. Yeah, well, and whatever other. Do you have a car? I have for the week. Everything else is equally divided between savings and debt repayment. You're doing it wrong. You need to have $1,000 worth of Australian currency. And savings, and everything else, guess what? You use to pay off your debt. Yeah, see? That's the ticket. So you would be paying off that debt regardless of whether they start taking it out of your money, which you said they have done anyway, so why not pay it off? Boom, boom, boom. Also means the less I end up spending, the larger the split can be. Now, again, there's no split. You're doing it wrong. You want to do it your way? You can do it your way. Go ahead. That hasn't been proven, so anything can happen. Whatever rent or bills I have in the future, I'll be setting that aside before I do the split. Yeah. My logic is my debt is a rather excusable one. No, there's no excusable ones. Nope. 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 And relatively small in the pantheon, it doesn't matter. Justification station even. There's a justification station in every country, including Australia, mate. Additionally, once my debt is paid off, I have an equal amount of saving to act as my 6-month emergency fund, completing step 6. I told you I was going to stop, which is considering my rent is up to $250 per week and a little over average utilities. Is this a good idea? No. How about you do a plan that's worked, which is Mr. Ramsey? Or should I be throwing absolutely everything into my debt? Yes. You know the right thing. Also, if it's relevant, I never considered getting a credit card. The only other debt I want to carry is a mortgage. Let me know what you think. Mortgage is allowed on step 4 after you do 3B. But that also means you have 1, 2, and 3 done. So debt has to be gone before you can do that. So yeah, the baby steps. You're on the Dave Ramsey subreddit. Why do you have to... What did I do? Oh. Why do you have to try to make his... You don't need to fix his baby steps, because the baby steps aren't broken, so they don't need to be fixed. But yeah, everybody thinks they have the key. And also, you slip it... Oh, I know what works better. And also, you slip in there a little bit. Well, and this is going to allow me to do something I want to do, too. That otherwise, if I follow the baby steps, I wouldn't be able to do it. So that's usually in there as well. Alrighty, Zealous Ideal, Cal 6626. Should I withdraw early from my Roth IRA? Negative, Ghost Rider. Negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is so. I need to get that clip. Or rollover IRA, a 401k, or my individual brokerage account from Fidelity. So the individual brokerage account is an option because that's no penalties. You would have to pay for the gains on there. You have to pay taxes on the gains from that. You've already paid the taxes on what you have put in a non-retirement brokerage account. So that's a possibility, especially if it's single stocks. They would definitely say get rid of those. Let's see. I know it's not the best idea, but bills are getting tight and I have to find a place to rent. Okay, so what if you... So you're going to do that and you're going to, pay off debt? And then you're just going to, if you don't fix your spending is the problem. The spending and the debt is the problem. That's what you need to fix. I need at least $5,000 from each account, which each account are higher than that. I understand there's penalties of 10%, but are there additional fees on top of that? Yeah, the taxes on growth. So for next year, talk about my total taxable income will be $5,000 or more. What? You don't pay taxes? Which account is the better option to withdraw early from? The brokerage account, because that is not going to be penalties. That's just going to be taxed on the gains. Roth IRA 3 for 1, so I don't get the 5-year rule exception, right? So yeah, you don't put that out there of taking out the contributions, which you can do without penalty. Can't take out a loan because I'd rather not. Well, that's a good reason. And I got pre-qualified for... personal loan with 12% APR, so that's high. Yeah, it is. I was surprised because I have great credit. Yeah. Is it better to take a 401k loan? No, you do not tap retirement accounts except to avoid foreclosure or bankruptcy. You just need to get the spending down. It sounds like bills are getting tight. What happened to make them get tight? You having all these different investing accounts? Maybe you having the non-retirement one at all? Maybe that did it? However, do I have to pay that in full before I decide to leave my current company? Yes, I believe that's exactly how that works. I'm in desperate times in need of money. Why? What did you do, Ray? What did you do, Ray? You remember what Ray did in the first Ghostbusters movie? He thought of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. My savings are not enough, so that's why... What is the problem? Savings aren't enough to do what? There's that thing flying around again. Is it better to dip in here? No, you don't dip it. I also have an individual brokerage. Yeah, you can do that brokerage account. It's investing account, but it's not tax advantaged. So you will have to pay again on the gains, but yeah, you can empty that. But the problem here is not fixing the problem. That's not your real problem. Your problem is what caused the bills to get tight. And that's the thing. You know what? Let's see if he answers. If somebody asks him and he answers. Not take the personal loan. Fizzband 2, you're dumb. 401k loan, a viable option. Mando, you're dumb. I never thought I'd say that to somebody named Mando. But yeah, I am. Non-retirement brokerage first. Roth IRA, only up to good contribution. Again, nobody sees the big picture like Coach Steve does. That's not the problem. What made it get tight? If it's just that you were putting too much money in your non-retirement brokerage account, then fine, but I would like to know that. Let's see. Let me just see an OP on there to see if... Get that thing. There we go. Now I might have worded it wrong. I'm just saying in an instance if I leave my job for better paying. Yeah, it's 401 my current company. Okay, no there. No, that's right. Okay, no, didn't say what the problem was, but see, that's what you gotta think about. That's what we're taught to do as well. You have to see the problem behind what they think the problem is. They think the problem is, oh, the bills are tight. How do I pay for them? No, that's not the problem. What made the bills get tight? Did you buy a new car? Did you do something else dumb? So that's what I would like to know. But he did not tell us, so we don't get to know. Never have closure. You got to get used to that. Even watching the Ramsey show, you don't ever know how it turns out, really. Unless sometimes they come back and do a debt-free scream, and then you know how it turned out. But other than that, you don't really know. Time is it? Okay, done an hour. Do a little bit more. At least. Let's see. Clean Sky 2241. 20 weeks pregnant, a bit of debt. How to proceed? Well, if it's something you could pay off really, really fast, if it's only a little bit, I would say probably do that first and then do the pile up cash, the short mode, where you pause the baby steps. Let's see, how much is it? Car loan around 26K. That doesn't sound like pay that off in a month or two. Yeah, they're not going to do that. So no, here's a thing that you would do would be, that's when you pause the baby steps and just pile up cash. And then when mom and baby or babies are home safely, then you take whatever's left over that pile of cash, hopefully all of it, and then you throw that right back on whatever step you're on, which in your case would be step 2. Only $4,500 of savings right now after purchasing a home / closing costs, and that's not what the emergency fund isn't a slush fund for anything that you don't have money for. When you purchase a home / closing costs, that all needs to be factored into your saving the down payment amount for. That needs to cover all of that extra stuff. Let's see. We'd love to tax his debt before baby gets here in September, but I know Dave says to put all debt payments on hold. Well, baby, right? Well, no, you don't put them on hold. You just don't pay extra. You do minimums. Another piece of info: we're looking at only around $300 for delivery, as long as all goes well. Yeah, as long as all goes well, right? And so you unfortunately, can't count on that. Do the $0 deductible health plan through Aetna. Any advice appreciated? What would you do in this situation? Again, because if it was just like, 5 to 10K, something like that, maybe you could knock it out quick if you can knock it out in a month. But since you can't, I would just do the Dave advice for sure, which is to pause the baby steps, and you just pile up cash. And then again, once you're home and baby's home safe and sound, then you take that pile of cash and apply it to the credit card debt. So, like, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at you if you could cash flow like in less than a month, like maybe 2 weeks. You could get the $4K to pay off the credit card debt. So I wouldn't hate you if you did that. Let's see, Steckums. As a remote breadwinner with a homemaker spouse and 2 young kids, would you get a second car? No. Then again, I don't have to always be driving somewhere. I mean, you're remote. You do remote work, so you don't have to drive to work. You can't get it together with the spouse to just have one car. Let's see, there are several times a month where our schedules collide, and having a second car would be such a convenience. Yeah, see, that's what you're in baby step 3. I would wait till you get baby step 3 done and then buy a really, really cheap car. The risk of having one car is when one of us goes off for the day. Kiddos are normally at home with the other partner with no vehicle. We're debt free minus mortgage with funded baby step 3. Emergency fund. Oh, it is. Well, you're on baby step 4 then. Contributing 15% of retirement, decent windfall that easily cover any moderate used car twice over. But we also want to start chipping away at the mortgage. If you have baby step 3B done and you're already contributing 15%, go ahead and buy a really cheap car. Now don't go crazy. We're not talking like a $15,000 car, 10K or less on that. But yeah, go ahead and buy one. I thought they were like in baby step 2. I thought they were still working on baby step 3. Expensive, anxiety, 52. Low retirement savings. Sell rental to pay off primary and save more aggressively towards, retirement. Primary home value $1.2 to $1.4 million. $330K owed. Car loan $30K. Doing it wrong. Rental income. Oh, it's investment property. Yeah, you're not supposed to do that anyway. So, yep. If you are 52, yes, definitely. I'll suck it up and pay down the mortgage, which is $37 monthly. Please be kind. Should we ditch the rental to pay off all debt and use income to save aggressively towards retirement? If you have other debt as well, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You're trying to get in good shape for retirement, and so that is the way to do it, which is to follow the actual baby steps, and that's not to have a freaking mortgage on a rental. Ramsey advice, any business type of thing, any rental property would be paid for entirely in cash. So it doesn't say how old, but if it is 52, definitely do that. The younger you are, maybe you do something a little bit different, but you would still pay off all your debt first. And depending on how much that debt is, doesn't say, oh, let's see, does it say? Car loan, $30K. Sell the car too. See, it just says the car loan at $30K, but doesn't say what the other debt could be. So, don't have all the information here, but that makes me think it's a lot more. So yeah, I'm doing that. You can always get another rental later and pay cash for it. Working at Ramsey Solutions. Has anyone ever actually worked for Ramsey Solutions? How was your experience? I have not. And you do have to live there. They do not have remote employees. Veltrum, what are you all investing in? I'm investing in managed mutual funds, such as Dave Ramsey recommends, because the managed mutual funds can beat the index even after you take out the extra expense ratio. I'm investing about 15% in my own simple IRA. I have to work in a Roth maxed out, but I'm not really involved in what I'm invested in. I'm letting the fine people at UBS handle the Roth. Only recently have I started looking into mutual funds and different types of accounts, brokerage versus retirement. Okay, but frankly, I'm lost. Well, you would only be doing retirement. Another kind of account would just be saving up for a purchase or just saving to make the gains on it in addition to your retirement. And you are on baby step 6, but you would not be doing that. You wouldn't be doing over 15% while you still have the house to pay off. But what the fine people at UBS are doing should be getting you the 10% average the S&P does at minimum, and hopefully they're doing better than that for you. Melodic oil, $24.86. Bonus payments. For those that get bonuses, how do you allocate that money? My wife gets a bonus most years, mostly. 14% goes to 401k with an extra contribution from our company. But what to do with the rest if we want to make that money grow? You would apply it to whatever baby steps you're on. If you're on baby step 7, then yeah, you can invest all of it. But if you have not paid the house, you would put it towards the house. If you have not, which you shouldn't be investing if you don't have your full emergency fund. So stop the investing, get the full emergency fund, and then with that money, maybe that would do your emergency fund. But it doesn't say what baby steps. So but yeah, any extra at any time goes to whatever baby step or steps you're on in the case of 4, 5, and 6, which you do all at the same time. Question on student loans from Smart Lady 918. Don't get them. Is that the question? I have 12 separate student loans from FAFSA, not private. Do I treat them as individual loans or separate ones for my snowball? Separate. Dad, thank you. I would treat them evenly. Evenly. Changing careers after paying student loans. Has anyone done this in my career? I deeply dislike tech. I love tech. I want to make a difference. So therapy or nursing is where I'd like to head into. Has anyone done this or similar after debt reduction? Well, it wouldn't be debt reduction before if you have to go to school, which in therapy or nursing, you would have to go to school again. So you got to pay for that, and you don't have other debt while you're paying for that. So you got to pay off all the debt and then save for that. So you got to work in your career that you deeply dislike, that you took the student loans out for, and you got to make that degree pay for the student loans. And then after that, then you can switch. Santos Prod, can I get advice on how to get started on getting a home loan? Currently finishing up baby step 3, okay? That should be a 6-month emergency fund. And in trying to do 3B to save up a down payment, but I'm trying to do 3B to save up a down payment. But once that's done, what bank do I go to? I hear Churchill Mortgage. Yes, because they are familiar with, they won't look at you like you're crazy when you say manual underwriting. Because it's harder, you don't just go by the credit score and that's it, and just put it in the computer and let it figure out. Manual underwriting is harder because you have to do it manually. I don't have debt, so I don't know what credit score I have. I just want to be able to qualify. Well, that you do manual underwriting. And so you do not have to worry about that until you almost have all the down payment that you want to save. Alrighty. If debt is normal, be weird. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I will agree with that. And on that, let's call that a stream. Let me give my plugs here and we will get out of here. I'm looking right now at the mic thing that I had muted. It's the same thing on in the streaming software, where like right now I have it the you're doing it wrong clip. I have that muted so you're not seeing it, and when I unmute it,
You're doing it wrong.
it comes back there. But then Mike was muted, and I don't know why I had that. I don't know why I ever had that, because I don't. In some of my different setups that I have, I don't even think I have a mic in this section, but it still works. You guys aren't seeing what I'm looking at, so never mind. Let's unhide the plugs. Let's unmute the plugs there. There they are. I'm Coach Steve Money. I'm Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach, and if you've got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation / assessment with me at calendly.com/Coach Steve Money. That is a video conferencing appointment, so you can do that from anywhere in the whole wide world. You can email me about coaching or anything on my YouTube channel at all, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. General donations can go to paypal.me/Coach Steve Money. Alternatively, like you've been seeing on the ticker that goes by. Alternatively, what are they? Alternatives? Cash App, $Coach Steve Money, or Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Here's the donations part right there. You can have me on the gram at Coach Steve Money. Of course, the YouTube channel is youtube.com/Coach Steve Money. Thank you so much for watching. Make smart financial decisions every day.